arrow lines up on the 30 degrees. Oops. There. Okay? And again, just firm it up. Nothing drastic about this. All right, again, now it's getting a little bit more dangerous because now your hand's over here, but you're cutting at an angle. But it's the same process, all right? Be sure everything's clear, nothing's getting in your way. Pull it down, secure your wood, bring it down a little ways where you're comfortable. Push the idiot button and the handle and squeeze the trigger. Now you noticed how I walked all the way through that. I didn't try to stop, I didn't slow it down, nothing, because as soon as you start changing the speed of that thing, little stuff like this has a tendency of getting in there and it'll fling out of there. Trust me, been there, done that drill. All right, now you're going to take, we've done the straight cut, we've done the miter cut, now we're going to do what is known as a bevel cut. That's why this sliding compound miter saw is so nice. It does all your trim work for you. Again, loosen up the head, the handle on this head. Now here is your bevel lock. You got to lift up on that. And again, you don't see me pushing down on it. All I'm doing is firming it up. I lift it up. Now over here, you can see the scale, all right? Now this will either go left or go right, okay? Either way, you have to pull this out and release it, okay? In this case, I'm going to go down here to, about 22 and a half. About 22 and a half degrees, okay? And I'm going to lock it again, okay? I got to close my bevel switch, okay? Tighten up my arm, firm it up, okay? Now, I'm going to make that another cut the same way, but now it's at a bevel and an angle, or a miter cut. So now you got a miter bevel cut going on. Again, be sure that your hands are out of the way. There's no restrictions. Big thing about this is these raised panels here, be sure they're set back out of the way, away from the blade. That's how the first accident happened. So now come down, get set up, squeeze the idiot switch, hit the handle switch, and let her go. Now, this is how they make all those different designs and neat little cuts around the house and stuff like that. A tool like this costs about $600–700. It's really a nice tool to have if you're doing a lot of work around the house. Be sure that when you're done here, lift up on the handle, loosen the head, pull back on your release lever, and bring it back until it's in zero mode. You're going to return the tool to exactly the same location you got it. Now on 0, 45, I think 30, it all has these quick locks. So once you release it, it will go and then stop and lock into place. All right, again, hold down on the head, release your pin, and let it lock itself into place. Close everything off and be sure everything's squared away in a safe position. Because remember, the next student that comes in here may not fully understand and have a brain fart somewhere along the line. It doesn't take much to cause an accident. All right, so please be careful with this at all times. All your scrap goes into the scrap barrel. All right, I'm not here to clean up after you, so please be aware of that at all times. All right, today we're going to be discussing the tripod and the elevation tool. Now, all of this is very expensive, so I do not wish to have to talk to anybody about misuse of this, right? We've had these donated to us over the years, and they're in perfect condition, so you must use extreme care, no gloves whatsoever. And when you hang on to this head, you hang on to it like it's your life, all right? The tripod comes in a sling type operation, all right? Pretty basic, all right? It has the 4 points, or the 3 points on this one. Be very careful, all right? Normally, they're very dull, but you never know what the other students may have done. Now, there's a little clip here that just unattaches from here, all right? Once you do that, you can spread your legs out. Now, this is called a tripod for that specific reason. Now, we're not worried if it's level yet or anything else, okay? You want to bring this up so that the base is about chest, a little higher than chest level, all right, right around your neck. Now, to do that, there's several ways of doing it. But the easiest way, and these come in all different forms. This has little knobs that you can turn, okay? Some have a little foot pedestals. Right. So you keep extending this until it's where you basically wish to have it. What's comfortable to you. There is no right and wrong. Now, you notice that I tightened up one leg. Now all I'm kind of doing is eyeballing this thing so that I get it as close to level as I can get it. Because in the long run, it's going to make it a lot easier. Now, there's no reason, these are thumb screws, that's what they mean, thumb screws. Don't see me using any wrenches or anything else on this. Underneath here, you have the adapter which attaches to the head of the survey equipment. Underneath here, and we're not going to use this, but underneath here you have where your plumb bob fits into. And there's a little mechanism, I don't know if you can see this, okay. It pops out. And if you want to put this on, it's fine, but for training purposes, I want to get you used to setting up the tripod and using the head. So you just kind of swing it through like so, all right? And then, with any luck at all, you get it back in the hole, all right? Now, if you were doing this in real life, there is a point of known origin. That point of origin is normally a piece of metal, brass typically, that's locked into the ground, cemented in. It isn't going to move. But that's a known elevation. That's what they're talking about. Well, of course, your plumb bob would be dead center over that. Okay? Now, for the important factor. Now, remember, I may not have said this, but all of this kit is locked up. So you're going to have to ask somebody in the staff or the faculty to pull this out for you. You notice it's in this case. It only fits one way, so please do not try to change it. All right? Let's look at this so that you get some familiarity about how this works. There's 360-degree circles, all right? You can rotate it freely, all right? You have your eyesight, all right? You have a prism here that points down so that you can actually look through this way to see if your bubble, I don't know if you can see that, your little bubble gets level. Now that bubble is going to move around until that piece of metal is dead in the middle of that dot, and we're going to show you how to do that. This focuses, this knob right here, and these two knobs, all right, move your fine tuning, okay? The knobs down here, these three knobs, coincide with the tripod, okay? And those are what going to move your fine tuning of your tripod element. Now, underneath here, you got the threads. Those threads have to be inserted into the hold down. And just take your time, don't force it. It screws on very easily. If you have to put any pressure on it, you're doing something wrong. And just firm it up. No tools needed. Okay? Now, I'm on concrete, so it's going to slide a little bit. For your exercise, you're going to do it outside on the concrete, all right, where it's stable. Now, let's just say we'll just put it here, looking at the wall for some reason. Now, remember what I told you? Fine tuning, major tuning, all right? But the first thing that you have to do, and this is what takes so long, is you have to get this perfectly balanced, all right? Otherwise, all your readings are going to be off, no matter where you put it. So now you got to have a little bit of patience. I'm going to turn this so that we have a clear picture of what we need to do. Now, my bubble is way over in the far left corner there, all right? If I move in this situation, because I can't give you the answer because everybody's going to be a little different, but as I move this leg, I'm lowering my tripod so very little. Now I need to go towards my right, all right? So now I move my knob oh so little, so it goes down a little bit in that corner. Now, that came out pretty smooth, pretty quick too. If I didn't have these glasses, I could probably see a little bit better. All right? Now you're going to have to play around with this. All right? But at the end, you can look through your viewfinder, look down through the prism, and you can see that my dot is pretty close to center. Now remember, we're not trying to get anybody to be an expert. Just be familiar with it. So if you're on the work site doing something, you understand the basic concept of this thing. Now what you have to do is you have to rotate that 90 degrees and check it again. And then another 90 degrees and reverse the whole process to just be sure that everything is level. Now, you'll see some people out in the field, they stomp down on the legs before they start all this. Well, that's great, but on concrete it's a little difficult. All right? Then check your plumb level and be sure it's over your designated mark, wherever that's at. Now, remember we were saying this is my major and this is my minor. All right? When you start looking through this prism, you're going to put your eye up against that a little ways distance, okay? Now you don't need safety glasses on this, okay? The only time you need safety glasses is if you're out there and there's other students working on construction projects or saws or whatever, then you need safety glasses, okay? Look through this and you're going to see a line of sight. This is all this does. It's a surveying tool that does nothing more than line of sight. But what I can do with this, as your book shows you, is I can tell you the elevation from one point to another point. And that's what we're going to do, all right? Now, when you get outside, there's going to be specific areas where you're going to need to put the pole. Now, because we don't have somebody holding that pole for you, we're putting it up against items that are not going to move, all right? That's just for training purposes. What your goal is to show us that you understand how to set this tripod up, put the head on there, level it, and get measurements at specific areas. And just call somebody, and if it may be different locations each time. The instructor or myself or someone may hold the pole for you for a few seconds. But we're going to explain how to read that pole as well. We've explained to you the tripod, the plumb bob, the head, leveling process. Unfortunately, we don't have the capability of zooming in here where you can actually physically see the scale if you were shooting it. But it's just like looking through a lens camera. All right, you're going to see at the other end this pole. All right, this is known as a rod, measuring rod. But do you notice something different in this? 1, 2 feet. The difference is it's all in tenths. That's how they work in the metric system. Okay? It's 1 foot from this point to this point. These are tenths, not inches. You're going to run out of inches if you keep counting in inches. This is in tenths. All right? So when you go and look through your camera lens, your crosshairs may go up like so. All right? Now, our objective is that you get your crosshairs right on the bottom of that line. If you want it 1 foot, 1.4 inches, or 1 foot, 1.4 feet, you would want this one and this 4, but your hairline is right at the bottom here. Not in the middle, not on the top, right on the bottom. This is where, remember that math that you did back in 112? Well, this is where you're going to convert it from tenths to inches and fractions. But typically in the field, they will only use it in 1.4, 1.7, 1.75, whatever it might be. Your objective is to get your crosshairs where you can read right exactly on one of these lines. Now, if it's 1 foot, it's 1.45, all right? Or 0.425, and you have, it's very complicated to understand this rod until you get used to it, all right? But understand that these are in foot increments and these are in tenths. And what we're trying to get you to understand is to figure out, calculate wherever your hairline is going to, crosshair is going to come into contact with that, all right? Now this expands and it locks in the back here, all right? Now, of course, this does not stand alone, all right? Somebody has to hold this, and as you see, if the person holding it isn't right, all right, you'll figure it out, all right? But this can go up, I think up to 8 feet, yeah. All right? So you can get pretty high on this. But again, this is line of sight tool. This does not elevate for elevation reads. So all we're trying to do is a surveying kit for line distance, straight line distance. And all we're trying to do is, you know, if you can imagine here, if we took a reading, and let's just say it's at 5 feet, just to make it simple. All right, so it's right at the bottom of the line for 5. Then we moved over to another area and we read it, but now my same crosshairs, as I rotate it, because everything's level, remember, when I go to rotate my head, I find out that not only is it not at 5 anymore, but let's say it's at 5.2, all right? Well, that means that there's 2/10 of an inch, 2/10 of a foot difference between wherever I started and wherever I ended. That's how you can tell if your elevation's going up, elevation's going down, all right? And you need this when you're putting in concrete forms, let's say, corner buildings, all right? You want to be sure that the building's level, all right? Your water lines, all right? That you're right at the right slope and everything. There's a lot of good uses for this, all right? So just be aware of that when you're working with this. If you have questions, just let us know. We'll help you out. The whole purpose is to understand the concept, not to make anybody, not to make anybody an expert, all right? If you have any questions, let us know. Just all I ask is that you take extreme care with this, all right? Just use extreme care. Now, this thing comes apart just the same way as you put it back together, all right? You don't need to worry about moving anything or closing down anything. All you need to do is grab a firm hold of this, the head, all right? Put it back in its container. And remember I said it only fits one way. Don't try to force this thing down. Just rotate it around. Get it back in there snugly. Again, this is probably the hardest part of the whole ordeal. And what we don't want you to do is lose this, the little clip, all right? Here's another problem that you might have, trying to get it wrapped around here. On the plumb, because they sell this as a kit, all right? The whole, not the tripod, but the hold down screw and the clip. And they get pretty pricey. Nothing in surveying is cheap, trust me. This is probably the cheapest thing that you'll ever see in surveying. So be sure that we have a good hold on that and it doesn't leave our site, all right? When you're done, close it up. Do not store it away. Let the staff or faculty see it so we can check it out, be sure everything's up and up, all right? Again, like I said, this is only to get you familiar with the tool, not to make you an expert. What we really want is that when you are on the job site for the first time or somebody's asking you, hey, go get the tripod and the head, don't come back with a ripsaw or a wrecking bar. But understand that people are very sensitive to their tools. They're very costly. And we want you to put it back the way you found it. All right? Well, actually, we want you to put it back the way it's supposed to be put back. We try to take care of it as much as possible, but things happen. Okay, so everything's been put away properly. What we want you to do now is to come out into the back lab area, ask for the equipment, get it set up, and go to work. All right? If you're working outside, just think of safety at all times, especially in the summertime. Drink lots of water. For the first time, you may do this 3 or 4 times to get used to setting up the bubble. All right? It just takes some practice. All right?